about who was appointed, the 70 something years, all 60 years and above. But you can see before we could get to this pandemic, the president himself appointed various youths in different sector. Even the current CIS health, she's a youth. And based on that the government now has come up with a test to the youth that will they be able to help us, so that we see these people, they are able. It is now the youth to stop politicking. If they want really to be involved in the government, let them come out and support the government. It's not a matter of saying you appointed something. I saw it somewhere, the same question you are asking me. Are you saying you are not remembering us when you are okay, but now here you need us when things are not cool in our nation? Yes, things are not cool in our nation. This is a world pandemic, not Kenya. And now we have to stop to come in and help our generation to come as the youth. We cannot ignore and start fighting the government. We fight the government, we get it to more worse. And with the same people who will complain, we have not been able to be involved. The reason will be we didn't follow the directive, we didn't support the government. So my appeal is the same youths who are outside there, they should come out and support the government call. This government call is a test. This government call is our responsibility. This government call is them without prejudice to know what can we do as the youth who usually complain that they want to involve us. They have given us that platform. They have given you, they have given me. This is the platform. Without selecting anyone, all being biased, come out and help them. Now,
at some point, there was a debate that you youth leaders and other youth were actually coming up with it. They were asking, who is a youth? I don't know. There are those ones who are talking of 18 to 35. Others were saying we can be a youth, and then in your mind you're not a youth. And even right now, when these appeal was made, there's still those debates on who is a youth. Others are saying, as long as you can think as a youth, come over. Can you highlight to the nation who is a youth? Or how did you agree finally?
According on the youth sector, when we say that the youth, who is a youth, we have an age groups. There's this one from 18 to 21. 18 to 21, we categorize you. To me, we call it, and some other people, we call it as a semi-youth. But once you are 21...
Why the term semi?
The semi is, you are not yet there to be involved in so many things. Since now you are recovering, this is when you want to join college, you know how to associate with the people, you are now from being a parent property, there is sometimes now we are being given time for you to go to a certain age group. Now from 21 to 35, you are a youth. And you can be able, you can look at our constitution, you can be able to vie in so many seats from 21 years old. And yes, at this juncture, we categorize from 18 to 35 as youth. But we extend also and welcome those who are below 40 and call them the youth. Because why am I saying so? The youth, people think that the youth is someone who is not old. But that's not at a perspective of the youth. A youth is someone who has new ideas. Is someone who is going forward with the current society move, how the world is moving and the generation how is moving. You can fit, the moment you can fit in that generation, you are a youth, according to me. So when the CS said the youth, the CS meant anybody who understands the critical condition that the youth will suffer, the youth are undergoing. If you understand the problem the youths are undergoing, automatically you are in their shoes, so you are the youth. That's how we categorize it.
So in your initiative, you are trying to say that you welcome anyone on board as long as they subscribe to what the new generation has to.
Yes.
Apart from the age factor and all that.
Apart from the age factor, we welcome anyone to come in. We are not biased to say you are not a youth, you cannot help us in this. We welcome anyone. And this is basing on if we reach there, how do we want them to help? in which what did the CS meant, because it is really a confusion to some of us, to some of the youth outside there. Yes.
Now, in his appeal, the cabinet secretary talked over a number of things, such as how the boda, the matatu circles, how they have been able to organize themselves in the past, and how they've been able to win. They've always been doing initiatives that have come up as a success. He didn't go deep to say how the youth, what are they expected to do and all that. It was left at that. Now, what are some of the initiatives, you as a youth leader, that you believe in this fight against this pandemic, the coronavirus, that the youth can do?
We have so many things that the youth can do.
Break them. We have to break them.
And if I break them down, let us start for the way the circles have been formed. Boda circle, market circles, and other circles which can be relevant and help this nation. Like in football teams, as the CS said. For instance, we have also youths who do their own business. And in a town, you can get, there's a group of youths. We have our young ladies actually who have chamas and everything. In this perspective, if, for instance, me, I go into a matatu as a youth, I find that the rules are not obeyed and the directives as the CS requested. It's my responsibility to shout out and tell the conductor or whoever is in that matatu, you have to follow these directives. That's what the CS meant. I have to go walk into a supermarket. Even I once went to a supermarket within CBD Nairobi, which I won't be able to mention the name. I realized the supermarket is following the regulations, but the people coming in are not following the regulations. They want to be told what to do. They want to be told, sanitize your hands, wash your hands before you come in. Some just walk in. So it is your responsibility when you note something like that. Just stay there for 2-3 minutes, direct them, and they will adapt to that. So these circles that the CS was saying, they should convert themselves now to some teams. That they can distribute themselves to different places. They can go to different places. They can be in Nairobi, like if it's a circle, matatu, something. They can be in a certain terminals and direct the youth in doing direct the youth and even other people in doing and following the government directives. That's what he meant, actually.
And a number of specific initiatives, like, for instance, awareness and all that. There are so many other initiatives that the cabinet secretary felt or feels up to right now that the youth can do.
What the CS feels the youth can do, it's helping in giving them creating awareness. There are those people who don't believe that the disease, the pandemic we have, can affect some percentage of the youth. They only think they only affect the rich people. But there are those youths who need to be emphasized that, you know, this is something does not categorize you being rich or being poor. So he also wants people to come out and update or educate, like a civil education, other people what to do in this kind of a thing.
Now, there are a number of initiatives that the youth might want to come up with. But you see, these youth have got different locations that they're found in, constituency, ward, and probably county. In those counties, in those jurisdictions, there are leaders who are involved into different activities. Now, how do these youth start moving? Because they cannot just wake up early in the morning and they're on the street, because there are legal parameters, legal requirements that they have to meet. Most of the youth are actually stranded because they do not know where to begin from. As a youth leader, you must have been having the way forward for them.
Yeah, we discussed about this, and it is very clear. The CS said, help the agencies, help even the police, help those who are already outside there. It is your responsibility as a youth with your group if you have a group, as there's various groups, they have their leaders. Meet the security agencies, meet the pandemic teams that have been formed, the response teams, and talk to them. Say, we have this kind of a thing now, as we are called out by the CS, what's the guideline? What do we do now? And they said, nobody will prevent you. And it is a voluntary work. The government can't pay each and every youth in this kind of a pandemic or epidemic you are having. So it is their wish and their call. They go outside there and even start doing it without the agencies. Once you meet them, you just explain yourself. I was doing this and this and this, and nobody will differ with you, or you won't follow into a bad hand.
We'll be coming into that after the short break, because we are going to look into some of the hurdles, the difficulties and challenges that the youth face when they want to execute such a moves. We go for a short commercial break. As we come back, we'll be looking into different ways, approaches, organizations, personalities, and individuals and avenues that the youth can join in order to see that they're able to contribute into fighting this pandemic. They are energetic, they are ambitious, they are willing actually to step in and assist the society. But remember, the society does not operate in a vacuum. There are policies, there are legal requirements, and different measurements that have been put by the laws of the land. And this is why Power Brief focuses on such a matters to ensure that whatever the youth do in this fight is aligned to the law and the policies in order to avoid conflict of interest and also stepping on any other person's responsibilities and duties. Keep on engaging us on our social media platform. Our Facebook page is CAC TV Kenya. Our Twitter handle is CAC TV_Kenya. And you can also stream live on our YouTube channel. Keep it on CAC TV.
Live every day. You've got to live single.
There's no specific time where we say, okay, this is the only time you can get married. After this time, no.
If a child fails an exam, the key thing is that the child wrote the exam.
Why don't you just have a child outside wedlock? Why don't you just be a second or third wife?
My life is not necessarily dependent on a man.
Movement is in progress, but progress requires movement.
There's got to be more to life than just marriage.
If I have a job,
I'm in my own house.
I've not
settled down. Though.
So when you make certain turns in success, you've got to slow down.
There's so much more to live and to do with being single.
Living the Life every Saturday at 2 p.m. on CAC TV.
Think about taking your studies in a serene and a conducive environment. Think about joining a fraternity of committed scholars where quest for academic excellence is exemplary. Think about studying at the heart of mineral-rich Tharaka in this young Gatuga market. Here is the place where things are done differently, a place where integrity and competence are vetted. It is an institution which has become the premier destination for academic excellence. At Tharaka University College, we provide higher education in the region and beyond. Applications are open in our main campus for May and September intakes for PhDs, masters, bachelors, diplomas, and certificate courses in the following schools: business studies, science, engineering and technology, education, humanities and social sciences, agriculture and natural resources. Talk to us through 0202007692, email info@tharaka.ac.ke, or log in to our website www.tharaka.ac.ke. Tharaka University College, education for freedom.
Many thanks for tuning in to CAC TV on Power Brief. We are looking on the youth response on COVID-19 in Kenya, and in this perspective we are looking on policy and legal perspective. Zachary Babere Mosabi, who is a youth leader, is with us, and we are looking into avenues, challenges, and some of the advantages that the youth have towards this call and how they can be able to mobilize themselves together, and also the available resources in order to complement the government and other organizations that have stepped forward in order to see that they are fighting this pandemic. Mr. Zach, we have actually looked into some of the initiatives or some of the things that the youth can do towards fighting this pandemic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are so many challenges that the same youth seems to face when they want to venture into anything new. As a leader of the youth, you will briefly highlight some of those challenges and probably how can they overcome them. Because the pandemic is here with us, and the youth are here energetic, influential, and ambitious over different matters.
Yes, Colonelius. Youths also have their own challenges, which the challenges they need, also the government needs to come in and help them. These challenges are, for instance, if I take you back today, the chairman, Governor's Council said the government, when he was addressing, this is what he said, that the counties, some of the counties, they don't have sanitizers yet from the government. So they are unable to move. Some various youth, they are not able to reach those sanitizers or get the sanitizers from the government. Some, they don't have the gloves from the government. So this means they have to go to their own pocket, buy the sanitizers, buy the gloves, buy the masks, for them to be able to move around, because they cannot move around emphasizing people and telling the public what to do once they don't have the face mask. Because going to an open place, you must have a face mask. So these are the kind of challenges. The other challenge that they face is some security agencies. They don't seem to understand them. They have not yet been given the good guidelines how to deal with the situation when meeting the youth. You see, that's what I'm saying. Before some group of the youth, you ask a good question. They don't know where to start from. So when they are starting this, they may go to a area OCS, ask about that we want to start this, but we don't have a permit. Maybe we will end up falling to a wrong hands. But the same thing affects them where they not given or offered that chance. But all they are told is that you can do before the end of the curfew, before the start of the curfew, you can go back home. But they also need to be categorized. Some group of them, they need to be categorized as essential services so that they can be able to reach outside there and also share out the information. Besides this, there is this, they don't have also to go out. They can share it through the media and generate it to something that other people can understand better. You know, a youth, they have a certain communication, a way of communication. There is a way you can send me a message, but I can rewrite it. Or I can create something out of it that can send a very good message. Beyond this, they are usually affected with the bundles, some airtime to use. That's why the president came out with the internet thing. And we are hoping very soon it will be outside there.
As it begin working?
We are hoping it will begin working very soon as the president. And as the president information, you know, that's a very difficult question because when I say that, I will now be taking Guna's position. So what I can say is that it will be, that one will be generated actually. We hope by the end of this week something will be out, or next week, and it will help. It will be accessible. It will be everywhere, and the youth will be able to spread the message. So for here, what I mean is the message can be spread out right from your house. The message can be spread if you are not able to move from just a text only in your own groups, because youths have various groups. Youths are also energetic. They can move randomly outside, but with all the challenges also, in everything you must accept the challenge. And we must, if you want to support, ignore about the challenge and let's support the government. Yes.
So your parting shot was how Peter, but they will say after the pandemic, will they be considered in decision making in other things?
Yes, they will be considered. That's what I've said, it is a test. It's only that some people don't usually see it. These are tests that now we have called you upon to come help us. Later, when you will not stand up and help, you will get that there is a youth who stood up firm. He came out, helped the government. The government recognized his potential or her potential and absorbed him in the any nomination seat. And you will still go back and the politic about it, like, hey, why is it other people? Why is it a certain community? Why is it a certain people are being, he know his uncle there, he know his father is there. But the issue is this youth was called upon because of how he helped the government, because the government recognized him. So it is a test for all of us. So it's according who will do it best. So they will be considered, I'm sure about that. And why am I saying it will be considered? If you are, if you realize, the CS said a very wonderful thing. If the youth don't stand up now, they will suffer most. We will suffer. How will we suffer? We will not have employment. Economy will cripple. The same time, the people who we are the people who we are trying to kill the old. The ideas we should also be getting from the old. Let us not despise the old also when they are being appointed. They are appointed with a reason. If these people, if they are not able to give us ideas that are no longer there, we will have a very big challenge in this nation. So to me, it's like, let's stand out. Let us come out and we will never complain. That's for sure. But by now, let us leave politics aside. Let us leave tribe aside. This is an enemy who is invisible. We can't see it. We don't know what is about it. It can swipe on your entire family. It can even swipe yourself. So the only thing you have to do is focus on the government directives. Focus on what the government needs you to do. Come out and help them, and they will consider you. Yes.
Many thanks, Mr. Zach. He's taken his time actually to explain the position of the youth in the entire story, in the entire war against this pandemic of corona. We thank you for your feedback, your comments, and your contributions on our social media platforms and also on our SMS number. This week, also, we had the World Health Day, where nurses and midwives have been celebrated. And one more time on Power Brief, we take this time to recognize the unique role that the nurses and the health practitioners are practicing all over the world, not only during this pandemic, but all through. And we take this time to appreciate and to continue telling the world that we do recognize your efforts and all that you're doing to ensure that we fight the COVID-19 pandemic together. Till next time, from me, Cornelius Omuse, thank you for watching Power Brief on KAK TV. Have a good evening.
KAK TV invites you to a live Easter Sunday services on the 12th of April from 8 a.m. Speakers will be Reverend Peter Kariuki, Director Children Ministry, Right Reverend Dr. Julius Mwamba, the moderator of 22nd General Assembly.